Hello everyone, I'm meteorologist Charlie Ironmonger. Thank you so much for joining me today for your noon news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. Now we've got a store owner who is now facing charges after officers found drugs and a slot machine illegally used in his convenience store. Ezzeldine Abdul Razak, who owns B Smart on 566 Sandridge Road, is accused of selling drugs and operating slot machines at the store. Now, he was found with marijuana and opioids and tianopatine, according to warrants. Now, warrants also say he unlawfully kept and operated a video game machine at the store. He was charged with the following: possession with intent to sell or deliver marijuana, possession of marijuana, possession with intent to manufacture, sell, or deliver Schedule II controlled substances, trafficking opium or heroin, maintaining a vehicle, dwelling place for controlled substances, gambling, manufacture or sell a slot machine, operate or possess a slot machine, operate a video gaming machine. Now, he is also facing violations for selling alcoholic beverages without a permit. He's being charged with defrauding a drug screening test. Warrants say he also sold adulterants to Detox Beverage. He was taken to the Onslow County Jail, where he was denied bond due to pending charges. And now we want to turn our attention to Homeland Security funding that is expected to be running out soon. Now, White House correspondent John Decker shares more on what the president is saying ahead of the potential budget cuts.
Congress has just over a week to reach a bipartisan deal, or funding will lapse for the Department of Homeland Security. And with DHS in charge of both the TSA and FEMA, the impact would most certainly be felt all across the country. With DHS funding negotiations between Republicans and Democrats continuing in the Senate, I asked the White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt what's at stake.
What would be the repercussions for all of the agencies under DHS if no agreement is reached on funding when that deadline approaches next Friday?
Well, there will be grave repercussions for all of those agencies, but more importantly, frankly, for the American people who those agencies serve. And that's exactly what the president and the White House want to avoid. Again, we want to keep the government funded. We want the Department of Homeland Security, of course, to be up and operationalized and continuing as necessary to protect our homeland, to secure our border, to ensure the brave men and women of the United States Coast Guard are getting paid, the brave men and women of the United States Secret Service who protect the president, the vice president, and frankly, all of you in this building every day continue to receive the paychecks that they so well deserve.
Democrats say they want to tighten the rules governing warrants and also require that immigration and customs enforcement coordinate with state and local law enforcement. They're also insisting that federal agents must be prohibited from wearing masks.
You said, Caroline, in your statement that there are certain proposals that Democrats are putting up that are non-starters. What are some of those non-starters?
There are a few, and it's a very good question, but I won't negotiate from the podium. I know the White House will be engaged in direct, serious talks with Democrats on this important matter.
Should no deal be reached by next Friday, Republicans already have a plan B. Senate Majority Leader John Thune says he's already thinking about another stopgap funding bill for DHS, possibly for the rest of this fiscal year. At the White House, I'm John Decker.
Thank you, John, for that report. We now turn to your weather forecast, where we are looking at a pretty cold weekend coming up. I know we've been stuck in a very cold pattern so far, but this weekend is essentially going to be kind of the cherry on top of the sundae. I do want to say good afternoon to Esmeralda, tuning in from Chinquapin. Hopefully you're having a fantastic Friday, Esmeralda. As far as what we've got across the east, again, looking at air temperatures right now coming out of the 30s and into the 40s. Some of us still in the 30s. Most of us, again, going to be getting into the mid-40s coming up later on this afternoon. Some of us already there. 44 degrees right now in Jacksonville. We've got 43 in Kinston along with Kenansville, 42 in New Bern, 41 in Washington, Greenville, Goldsboro, and Rocky Mount. Now a little bit closer to Highway 64 and northward. we're seeing more of the upper 30s to mid 30s. But again, if you're watching from areas around Edenton or Roanoke Rapids or Williamston, you guys are going to be warming up. Just give it a little bit more time, a little bit more heat is on your way. Obviously, it's not going to be sticking around. Coming up this weekend, we're going to be cooling off by about 10 degrees from where we're going to end up later on today. Right now, winds blowing at about 6 to 12 miles per hour. Cloud cover will be building over the east through the next several hours. Well, I'd give it to maybe around 2 to 3 p.m. And then you'll really start to notice those clouds moving overhead. Will result in some raindrops coming in for parts of eastern North Carolina, but they will be light. They're going to be brief, not really sticking around long. I think the raindrops are going to be clearing the coast as we head towards 8 and 9 p.m. tonight. But air temperatures, again, going to stay near freezing, maybe a little bit above freezing, due to the cloud cover that will be present overnight. Now, that cloud cover departs early on tomorrow morning, leaving us with very sunny skies for your Saturday, kicking off the weekend under lots of blue skies. But not only look at your air temperatures, which, again, not really going to be all that impressive, look at the winds. Wind speeds are going to be high throughout the day tomorrow. In fact, we are looking at around 15 to 25 mile an hour sustained winds for inland areas of eastern North Carolina. Those of you watching on the eastern side of Highway 17, especially closer to the water and the sounds, anticipate 25 to 35 mile an hour sustained winds for tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. It is going to be strong, and gusts along the coast could range upwards around 35 to 45 miles an hour. It is going to be very cold coming up Saturday night into Sunday morning. Not the coldest we've been this week, but it is certainly, again, going to put a chill in the bones, looking at the mid to upper teens as we wake up on Sunday. But let's talk a little bit more about our winds. Nothing overly impressive coming up for today. Then we get into your Saturday morning, 6 a.m., and we are going to wake up and the winds are going to be whipping around the east. At this point, again, 15, 25 mile an hour sustained winds. As we head into the afternoon, winds for inland areas, again, still very breezy, but we will see more acceleration of those winds along the coast as we head towards your Saturday afternoon to Saturday evening. Note, these are your sustained winds. Gusts are going to be about 10 miles an hour higher than the number you're seeing on your screen right now. So if you're watching, say, from Beaufort right now, Saturday, 10 p.m., potentially 15 mile an hour sustained winds, anticipate gusts upwards around 25 miles an hour. In Manio, 30 mile an hour sustained winds out of the northwest, anticipate gusts upwards around 40 miles an hour. It is going to be a strong breeze. The good news is that wind doesn't stick around through the entire weekend. We'll really see those winds calm down through the day on Sunday. Inland areas will see that calming trend take hold a little bit earlier than those of you watching on the eastern side of 17, but even along the Outer Banks, Sunday afternoon to Sunday evening is going to be quite a bit calmer than what we're going to see early Sunday morning and late Saturday night. Obviously, we will still be breezy along the coast Sunday night, but not nearly as breezy as, again, what we've got coming up for Saturday and Saturday night. Monday, still looking at a northerly breeze, but the sunshine should be able to overtake that northerly wind and bring about a little bit more heat as we kick off next week. For the raindrops that we're tracking coming up later on today, 5 o'clock, those raindrops are going to start to push their way across the east. I think a lot of them are going to be exiting between around 8 to 9 p.m. at night. Could include maybe a few snowflakes, particularly for any showers still coming down after sunset, but not anticipating anything sticking to the ground and nothing obviously then accumulating. So impacts from these snowflakes, minimal at most. Not a big deal to see these snowflakes. Cool to see, but certainly not impactful to your forecast. Early Saturday morning, we will also see another opportunity for some snowflakes along the Outer Banks and across potentially portions of mainland Dare, Hyde, and even Terrell counties. It's not going to be much, but it's certainly cool to see, especially if you wake up early on Saturday. Now, Saturday is mostly going to be defined by the sunshine, the winds, and the cold temperatures, but those temps really fall as we head into, again, your Sunday morning. 17 degrees there. That will be the coldest overnight low we have over the next 8 days. Obviously, we were colder last weekend and into the start of this week, but I mean, no going back. We're going forward, and that means a little bit more warmth for next week. 47 degrees on Monday after spending Saturday and Sunday in the mid to upper 30s. So about 10 degrees warmer on Monday than the weekend's air temperatures. 60 degrees on Tuesday. Mostly sunny skies. There's more than just a few of you out there who are rubbing your hands together saying, yes, please. 61 degrees on Wednesday. Will cool down on Thursday and Friday as the rain showers that you see on your forecast there will be caused by a cold front that will drive some cooler air back over the east, but still not looking at the same sort of temperature profile we've got coming up for Saturday and Sunday, or of course what we experienced last weekend. Well, that's all we have time for today's noon news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. We'll be back coming up at the top of the hour at 1 o'clock for more news and weather from the First Alert Desk. Until then, I hope you all have a fantastic Friday.